in the annals of human endeavor. Some stories are etched not in ink, but in steel and stone, rising from the earth to challenge the very heavens. This is one such story. It is the tale of a city born from ambition, a metropolis that dared to dream of a world beyond the horizon, a place that would one day be known as the city that touched the sky. Our story begins not with a grand decree or a king's command, but with a quiet observation, a simple yet profound realization that the only way to grow was up. Visual, slow, sweeping aerial shot over a modern, gleaming metropolis at sunrise. The camera glides between towering skyscrapers, their glass facades reflecting the golden light. Transition to a sepia-toned animated sequence showing a small, bustling 19th-century port town. Horse-drawn carriages clatter on cobblestone streets, and low-slung brick buildings huddle together. The year was 1880. The city of Ethelberg was a thriving, albeit crowded, hub of commerce. Its streets, a labyrinth of brick and mortar, were alive with the cacophony of progress. Merchants hawked their wares, ships from distant lands lined the bustling harbour, and the air was thick with the scent of coal smoke and salty sea air. Ethelberg was a city of opportunity, a magnet for those seeking fortune and a new beginning. But this very success was becoming its greatest challenge. Hemmed in by a wide, untamable river on one side and impassable mountain ranges on the other, the city was bursting at its seams. Land was a finite, precious commodity, and the price of a single square foot was skyrocketing, threatening to choke the very growth that fueled its prosperity. The city's elders and planners were locked in a desperate search for a solution, poring over maps and charts, but every path seemed to lead to a dead end. Visual animated blueprint sketches appear on screen. We see a close-up of a hand drawing a horizontal line, then crossing it out. Another hand draws a circle representing the city's boundaries, showing how it can't expand. The animation then zooms into the face of a thoughtful, young architect, Ilara Vance, looking out a window at the cramped city below. It was in this climate of constrained ambition that a young architect named Ilara Vance proposed an idea so radical, so audacious, that it was initially met with disbelief and ridicule. While her contemporaries saw only horizontal limits, Ilara saw a vertical frontier. She looked at the crowded streets and saw not an obstacle, but an opportunity. If we cannot build out, she declared before a skeptical city council, her voice ringing with conviction, then we must build up. She presented sketches not of wider avenues or new settlements across the river, but of structures that reached for the clouds. Her vision was not merely for taller buildings, but for a new kind of urban living, a vertical city where homes, parks, and marketplaces would exist in a delicate, soaring ecosystem. She spoke of steel skeletons, a novel concept at the time that could bear immense weight, allowing buildings to climb higher than ever imagined. She envisioned a city that did not spread, but ascended. Visual. The sepia tones transition to a vibrant early 20th century color palette. A fast-paced montage shows the construction of the first skyscraper. Riveters hang precariously from steel beams, sparks flying cranes hoist massive girders into the sky. Time-lapse footage shows the Ethelberg pillar rising floor by floor, dwarfing the surrounding buildings. Newspaper headlines spin onto the screen. Vance's Folly, a tower to the heavens. The pillar reaches 20 stories. The council, swayed by her passion and the stark reality of their situation, reluctantly granted her a single plot of land to test her theory. It was a gamble, a monumental risk on an unproven concept. Thus began the construction of the Ethelberg pillar. The project was a spectacle, drawing crowds of onlookers who gazed up in a mixture of awe and apprehension. The city held its breath as the steel frame climbed, floor by painstaking floor. It was a symphony of human effort, a testament to raw courage and engineering ingenuity. Workers, who came to be known as skywalkers, balanced on narrow beams, hundreds of feet in the air, their silhouettes etched against the clouds. When the pillar was finally completed, standing at a then unprecedented 30 stories, it transformed the city's skyline and its psyche forever. It was a beacon of possibility, a concrete and steel declaration that the old limits no longer applied. Visual. Smooth, gliding camera shots move through the interior of the completed pillar. We see families living in sunlit apartments with stunning city views, office workers in bustling open-plan spaces, and a beautiful rooftop garden with people strolling and children playing. The visual style is warm and inspiring. The pillar was not just a building, it was a vertical neighborhood. It contained homes that seemed to float among the clouds, offices where business was conducted with a bird's-eye view and at its very peak. A public conservatorial terrace, insistence a lush green oasis in the sky, open to all citizens. It became the city's most coveted address and its most popular landmark. People would ride the newly invented elevators simply for the thrill of the ascent. To stand in the conservatory and look down upon the city they knew, now rendered as a miniature map below. Illyria's folly had become Ethelberg's triumph. Her vision was vindicated, and the success of the pillar ignited a firestorm of innovation. The race to the sky had begun. Visual, a powerful time-lapse sequence, shows decades of construction. The city skyline transforms dramatically. Dozens, then hundreds of skyscrapers of varying architectural styles rise from the ground. Animated lines connect the towers, representing sky bridges and transit systems. The city becomes a dense, glittering forest of steel and glass, both day and night. What followed was a century of vertical ambition. Architects and engineers from around the world flocked to Ethelberg, each eager to leave their mark on its ever-changing canvas. The simple steel frames of Illyria's time gave way to complex composite materials and daring, gravity-defying designs. Towers twisted like strands of DNA. Buildings were draped in living walls of green foliage, and shimmering sky bridges were woven between the tallest structures, creating high-altitude pedestrian pathways. Ethelberg evolved into a three-dimensional city, an entire secondary transport system, a network of silent maglev pods. Whisked citizens between towers, far above the historic streets below. The old city, with its cobblestones and 19th-century charm, was carefully preserved at the base of these modern titans, a living museum nestled at the roots of a technological forest. The city learned to live on multiple levels, a harmonious blend of past and future. Visual, the narrator's voice becomes more reflective. We see intimate, human-scale shots, a child looking out a high-rise window at the clouds, an elderly couple tending to flowers on a balcony 80 stories up, a diverse group of friends enjoying a meal at a Skybridge cafe with the city lights twinkling below. Yet the story of this city is not just one of architectural marvels and engineering feats. It is the story of the people who call this vertical world home. It's the story of children who learn the constellations not from a field, but from observatories perched atop the world's tallest residences. It's the story of communities formed not on street corners, but in shared gardens on the 50th floor and public libraries on the 100th. They adapted, creating a new culture, a new way of seeing the world. They are a people accustomed to breathtaking views, who measure distance not in blocks, but in floors. They have a unique relationship with the sky, with the weather, living in and amongst the clouds, watching storms brew beneath their feet, and seeing the sun rise while the streets below are still cloaked in shadow. They are the children of Elara Vance's dream. Visual, the camera slowly pulls back from a single window, revealing the immense, intricate tapestry of the entire city at night. It is a breathtaking vista of light and structure, stretching as far as the eye can see, piercing the darkness and reaching towards the stars. The final shot mirrors the opening, but now the city is a fully realized, futuristic metropolis. And so, the city that was once trapped by its geography found its freedom in the sky. It stands today as a testament to the power of a single, transformative idea and the indomitable spirit of human ingenuity. It is a living, breathing monument to the notion that our greatest limitations are often the ones we place upon ourselves. From a crowded port town to a soaring metropolis, Ethelberg became more than just a collection of buildings. It became a symbol of aspiration, a city that looked at the sky not as a limit, but as a foundation. And in doing so, it became the city that truly and magnificently touched the sky.